Happy Monday. I'm actually live. actually live. Shout out to Gladys. I see you in the comments. I appreciate you being here live with me. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've been live. Got to get used to it again. Happy Monday. Today is the 21st day of February. This is the 36th episode of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym. I'm trying to get the angle right. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. Do I have a hero shirt on? Do I? Do I? Yeah, there we go. Helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. I'm your host. I'm Sekou Wrights. I'm a professional creative and the creator of the Hero Ministry movement. And that's my effort to uplift and inspire the unhoused community and everyone else that I can uplift and inspire. So join me here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern. By the way, I'm in the Eastern time zone now. It's taking me a little bit of time to get used to that because I'm usually in the Central time zone. So it's a little bit of an adjustment. Anyway, 9:45 a.m. Monday through Friday, Eastern time zone. Be Your Own Hero show. And shout out to New Thought Media Network for giving me this platform for me to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero in general, and specifically becoming my own financial hero. This is the doing season. Season 3 is the doing season, and it's all about making moves, making something happen. So, quick disclaimer, I'm not a personal trainer nor my financial advisor, so do your own due diligence. And if this show provides any value, please like, please comment, please share, please spread the word. All right, that's all my intro stuff. So, obviously, I'm on location. I'm in Florida, and I'm going to talk about the weather in a second. But first, let me see if there's any more heroes in chat. Yeah, shout out to Nan. Appreciate you popping in the chat. It's been a while since I've been able to shout out people in the chat because I haven't been live. All right, so moving on. Run streak. Today is day 266. I've been running every day, at least a mile a day, for now 266 days in a row. And as you know, I've been running in Florida. Well, as you know, if you've been watching the run reports, you know I've been running in Florida recently. And in every report, I keep talking about the weather because here's the thing. I've been paranoid about running early so that I could beat the heat because I've been worried that if I don't beat the heat, then it's not going to happen. Or I'm going to have to wait until the evening to get out there. And then, the longer you go, the harder it is. So anyway, this has not been an issue at all. It's been cold, not just cool. It's been cold, 40 degrees. It hasn't been less than 40, but 40s, high, maybe high 30s. Today was 50. It has not been an issue. So I've been uh-oh. I think I'm back. Screen went black for a second. Anyway, I'm remembering a time once when I tried to go running in Florida and I barely made it a block and I was drenched in sweat and I had to walk back. So anyway, the weather has changed. The weather is changing all across the world because that has not been an issue at all. Anyway, so that's my sidebar about my run streak. But today is day 266. And as you know, if you've been watching, I'm on my third charity run. We're raising money for Mr. Charles. He's got a fan club, so I'm excited about that. We're at 64% funded, 64% of the way to our goal. And I just want to go ahead and push it heavy this week. So if you see me on social media this week and you see me talking about Mr. Charles, please like and share it. So we can get the word out. We can go ahead and close the gap and just get that done so we can get Mr. Charles taken care of. Okay, so what else? Oh, the 30-day streak challenge. That seems to be going well. Nan was in there posted yesterday about that group she joined, the running group, and what was it? 7 minutes running, 1 minute walking. That's dope. That's dope because the balance starts shifting, right? In the beginning, at least for me, I could only do 1-1. I had to do 1 run, 1 walk. So, for example, I know I've told this story before, but it's funny. So at Fisk University, I'd go to their track, and one of my classmates would be out there running 3 miles. And at the time, 3 miles was just inconceivable to me. I could not imagine how he was running 3 miles in the morning in one shot. So he would come by, and I would run one lap with him. And as soon as I got back to the same place that I started on the track, I would walk until he caught me again, and then I'd run with him again. So 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 1. The point is, you keep the 1 and 1 rhythm, and then pretty soon you realize you don't need it anymore. And so it's great that Nan is way beyond that now. 7 and 1, 7 minutes running and 1 minute walking. That's amazing. And for everyone else that isn't doing something similar, just remember, all you gotta do is start and not quit. It's the not quitting part that's the game changer. You gotta start. But if you don't quit after you start, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so that's enough talking about that. Some of you know that I've been training with the half marathon group, Fleet Feet Brentwood, out of Nashville. And today is a scheduled 4-mile run. And if you watch my run report, you'll hear me talk about that. I feel like I've talked enough about running today, but the run report today is pretty interesting. Or at least it was to me. So check that out. Anyway, as I was preparing the show, I realized that I left my dice inside. So I'm outside. So what I discovered, though, is a website. This is called calculator.net, and there's a randomizer on here. So I put in number 1 as the low number and 6 as the high number, and we are just going to do a virtual dice roll. Here we go. I'm hitting the generate button, and the winner is 5. 5. So today's number is 5. For those of you participating in the envelope challenge, take $5, move it from your checking to your savings bucket that will be used to invest. Like, let's be clear, this is not another savings account. This is a place where you're storing money temporarily to invest. And that's the muscle that we're building. Store that money temporarily, let it build up, invest it. So again, today's number is $5. Okay. So, morning Zen. As you know, if you've been watching the show, I've been reading the 4 agreements, and I'm just going to list them again, mainly for me, because they're short and simple, but they require a significant amount of willpower. So I'm repeating them as a reminder to me, hopefully as a reminder to you, to live with the 4 agreements during the day and practice. Don't just hear me say them now and forget about it until you hear me say them again tomorrow morning. Like, actually remind yourself throughout the day. So the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word. And the way that I'm interpreting that is, be kind, say kind things to yourself. Say kind things to yourself. Like, instead of criticizing yourself, say kind things to yourself. So number 1, be impeccable with your word to yourself. Number 2, take nothing personally. Whatever happened, if it involves someone else, it's because of what that someone else is going through. It's got nothing to do with you. Take nothing personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Ask clarifying questions to avoid making assumptions. And disabuse yourself of the notion that you already know the answer. No, you don't. No, you don't. Ask them, and even when you ask clarifying questions and you get a response, you still won't know everything. Because, I'm off on a tangent. I'm off on a tangent. Well, because we're only aware of maybe 10% of our thinking. The vast majority of our thinking is subconscious. So how can we know this? By definition of subconscious, it's beneath the conscious mind. So we can't know everything. So anyway, ask clarifying questions to get you closer to the truth without making an assumption. And the final thing is, do your best. In all cases, in all ways, do your best. Okay. Also, I want to read a quote from Spiritual Economics. This was a book recommended by Nan, and I was in it this morning, and I love this concept. This is basically a concept about abundance and how sometimes we feel like someone else winning somehow makes it impossible for us to win. like if they've got a lot of money, then we can't have money because they've got too much. You hear people talk about that. Talking about like these wealthy people have so much money, and then there isn't enough money left over. But this idea is different. The idea is like what I just expressed is competitive thinking. And what you have to do is train your mind to be in the space of growth and abundance, not competition. Creation, not competition. There it is. Creation, not competition. So anyway, this is about breathing as it applies to abundance. When you breathe all the air you need, you can never deprive anyone else of all the air they need to breathe. There's always enough, with plenty to spare, because the substance is present in its entirety at every point. So no matter how much air you breathe, everyone else can breathe however much air they breathe, right? How much air they need. Same thing with wealth and abundance. Like you amassing a fortune does not take any money away from anyone else. Same thing for them. Them amassing a fortune does not take any money away from you. Okay, and then the rest of this passage I highlighted is just about not getting caught up in that mindset, even if someone else approaches you with that mindset. Don't get caught up. Remain in your truth that everyone has enough air to breathe. Everyone has enough money. Okay, or everyone can have enough money in abundance, just like air. All right, so affirmations, reminder, and then let's talk about abundance a little bit. So I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. Okay. And shout out to Linda. I see she just popped into the chat. Appreciate you being here. Okay. Here's my reminder about wealth. If you only spend, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. But if you want to be wealthy, you must invest. And I'm just going to keep saying it. I'm drilling it into my mind and your minds as well, because at least for me, that's not what I was taught. So you got to remember to invest and invest. That said, it's Money Monday here on the Be Your Own Hero Show. And last week, I talked a little bit about my trip from Nissan to Mississippi and all the robots that they had at the plant in Canton. Is that right? Yeah, in Canton, Mississippi. So I want to talk about that again a little bit because I'm still fascinated. So just as a reminder, they had thousands, literally thousands of robots at this massive plant. And many of the robots had different functions. There were at least 3 classes of robots that I noticed. So there were the construction robots that like put the car together. These were massive, like I don't know, 20 feet high robots, and they were fenced in so nobody could get near them, so there wouldn't be any accidents of you getting in the robot's way. So they're fenced in, massive robots. They're like putting together things in big ways, and then putting them on the assembly line. That was one category. There were also mover bots who were following a chemical in the paint on the floor. So they would paint a line on the floor, this special chemical in it. And these mover robots are programmed to read that chemical, and they would just move themselves from one spot to the next, and they would pull all these things behind them, like delivery bots, basically. Oh, by the way, did you guys know that Domino's, I think it's Domino's, has started doing delivery via robot in California? Domino's Pizza is doing delivery via robot in California. So you know that's only going to get bigger and bigger. So watch out for that. Anyway, so there's the delivery bots, and they'll pull like, trailers and trailers of stuff from one place to another so you can get what you need for your station. That's one second category of robot. And the third category of robot that I noticed, and I'm sure there are more, but the third category that I noticed was the quality control robots. So they were in a section of the assembly line where they are making sure that everything is everything. And so they had this blue light and they would flash it on the car to make sure everything was flush and everything looked right, looked right. And if it didn't look right, they would put up this red like check on the screen, and then the humans would come and check it out, figure out what's going on, and then sometimes resubmit it for some adjustment. So what I got out of that, I mentioned this last week, is that, well, first of all, you all are probably having the same reaction I had, which was the robots are going to steal these jobs. That was my initial response. The robots are going to steal these jobs. And I even pulled aside one of the assembly workers, and I was like, yo, that was good. Like, you all right? Like, we had a little chat. She's like, yeah, that's not what's happening. And we asked the Nissan people as a group, and the executive said the same thing. They said that what they're doing is they're eliminating the repetitive work so that the person in that station can move up to things that require more thought, like double checking, figuring out why the thing isn't flush, like the door isn't flush, for example. Like the robot might tell you it's not flush, but you got to figure out why it's not flush. Like that's an easy example. So I was fascinated by this idea of automating the lower level work so that you can have, well, the people at the Nissan plant can have the mental space to have higher level thinking. And I've been trying to apply that here in this abundant space. And I think I got it. So, am I back? Am I back? It must be a not good internet connection. All right, I look like I'm back. So I guess I'm going to pick up the pace just in case it blacks out on me. But high income skills. These are skills that you can acquire without going to college that can pay you up to and even more than $100 an hour, or $10,000 a month, or $100,000 a year. Different increments, but the idea is they can pay you a lot of money for a little bit of time without a college degree. Now, in terms of that, it seems like, that, and also Warren Buffett was famously quoted as saying, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Now, that's a strong quote. It is. And it applies to workers, but as someone who is a freelancer, doesn't have like a job, I want to extend that to folks who have lots of time, freelancers, retirees, artists, etc. Same concept. If you're not making money while you're sleeping, you're not going to be able to break out of the quote unquote rat race. And so I'm putting all these things together. If you can identify high income skill and automate some of the lower levels of that high income skill, then you can create passive income that is constantly making money even while you sleep. And so that's going to be the experiment this week. The idea isn't really fully formed, or it wasn't fully formed when I hit record for the show today, but I think what I want to do is talk about ebooks all week, specifically ebooks, because we're talking about creating passive income for everybody watching the show. Everybody watching the show, we're talking about creating passive income that has the ability to make money while we sleep. And we've discovered through the stock market that we can do that by acquiring assets that appreciate in value and that pay a dividend, right? Which is great. But we also found out that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So let's work on number 2. Let's assume that everybody watching the show is in the stock market now. I hope so. And let's move on to income stream number 2. So this week we're going to talk about ebooks. So let's tell a story, shall we? Here's my story. I put all this together because of that experience with Nissan. And I thought, all right, so what's something that I can automate in my space of of looking for passive income. And I thought, all right, well, I'm a writer. So maybe I could have something transcribed and turn that into a pamphlet or a book or something. So what I did is I chose the episode here where I talked about, someone asked me, I can't remember who asked me, but someone asked me how to buy stock if they've never bought stock before. And so I spent the whole episode talking about that. And that was really great because it helped me understand that I have grown in this space of wealth and abundance, and I have some things to say. I know some things, but I also have a perspective on some things. So that was really helpful. So I decided, all right, I'm going to take that episode and then turn it into a worksheet that people could download. And so you don't have to watch the whole episode. You could just read the bullet points, right? So I took that episode and I outsourced it to Fiverr. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Fiverr, but it's a website that allows you to hire people for, around $5 and up. Hence the name. Fiverr refers to $5. And in the beginning, everyone on there was only charging $5 for whatever it is they were doing. It's expanded now rapidly. So many of the people charge more than $5, but still it's inexpensive freelance work. So you can get something done for 5, 10, 15, $20, right? So I decided to send that episode about how to buy stock to Fiverr and have someone transcribe it. It was a big deal for me because I was like, I can do it myself. I don't need to hire somebody, all the things. But I pulled the trigger, hired somebody, and it was, again, it was, no money, it was like $10, I think. And they sent it back. And not only did it happen while I was doing other things, so that's important because I've moved on to some other item on my agenda, but the work is still happening. So not only that, when it was submitted, I realized that this wasn't that complicated, that he wasn't typing it out, which is how I thought about it. When you think transcribe, I think somebody sitting at a keyboard typing it out. He just automated it. He dropped it into a computer. I could tell because I work with transcriptions in one of my other jobs. So I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. Just putting it into the computer and automating it. So what's my point? My point is I learned something just by being willing to outsource it. I learned that I can have something transcribed by many of the programs that I use every day. And so can you. So circling all the way back to ebooks, all of us have something we know about that other people would be interested in knowing, in reading, keeping with the theme of ebook. So there's someone out there right now Googling something that you know a lot about. So let's monetize that wisdom. For all of us, let's monetize that wisdom. So in my case, continue with my example, I took the episode, I had him transcribe it, and I'm turning that into, I think it's going to be a pamphlet about how to buy stock, right? So if you've got like video, that's my point. If you've got video, or you can even create video. If you want to record yourself, you can have a computer program transcribe it. So that's one way to very quickly end up with a block of text that you can edit, because it's always easier to edit than it is to draft. So you can end up with a block of text that you can edit. Now, if you don't have video content, don't worry about that. You can still create an ebook. Just go into your computer and look around. Like, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do this week. We're going to look around for things that we are subject matter experts in, right? Air quotes on that. Because if you have a computer, and I'm sure you do, because that's probably what you're watching me on, you've accumulated lots of information about the subjects that you know well. So go in there and look with the idea of, what do I have on my computer that other people might be interested in reading and knowing, right? And I told you mine. In this case, I'm going with how to buy stock for the first time. And I'm using an episode of the Be Your Own Hero show to do that, right? So go back, look through your hard drives, look through your old files, think about how how to capture something that would be of interest to others so that we can monetize it. All right. But I don't want to do this alone. I'm going to do it, but I don't want to do this alone. I would love for us to do this together and create another revenue stream. So let me just extrapolate what that'll look like, and then I'll close out. That'll be it. So imagine, if you will, you've created this pamphlet, you've created this book, etc. The systems to sell such a thing are already in place. As an author, I've watched them grow rapidly over many years, but really rapidly over the past couple of years. So getting it set up is really easy. All you have to do is create it. And there was a guy named Nehemiah Davis was talking about this recently. He said that your goal should be to create a thing that you can sell after only creating it once. In other words, if you get one order, you sell it, but you get another order, you can sell the same thing. All the way up to millions of orders, you can sell the same thing. You don't have to change anything. Now you could go in, change the introduction, do some editing, whatever, but you don't have to. So create an item once that you can sell forever. Create an item once that you can sell forever. And that's what we're going to be doing this week as we talk about ebooks for all of us. All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a secondary revenue stream. We're going to take a break from the stock market. We're going to assume that everybody's in the market making some money there. And let's create a second revenue stream that already exists on your hard drive. Let's do it together. Okay, so stay tuned for prayer time at 10:15, and stay tuned for Sit with Rev Melissa at 10:30. Keep doing. Be a hero. Be your own financial hero. Remember that now is better than perfect, and I will see you mañana. Later.